Now look, Roofman comes out this weekend. I saw it at Toronto International Film Festival early. And this was honestly one of my biggest surprises from the festival. Because this is a very standard story that is accessible, where you could bring just about anybody to this movie. I mean, it is an R rating. I mean, there's some darker elements, a little bit of sex here and there in the film. But I thought this just has a great cast and great characters that feel real and genuine. And it proved to be a very fun experience. It was one of the most fun movies that I saw this year. You don't have to reinvent the wheel with a story if you have all those elements. And I also love the visual design of this. And that's what I'm going to geek out over first, because the set design of this really played to my special interest. I love, I know it's pretty shallow, but American consumerism from like the 90s and 2000s. And in this movie, they recreate a Toys R Us. They recreate like a 2003 McDonald's interior. I was blown away by how accurate that stuff is. It's right up my alley, so I do have to admit that bias. And in the Toys R Us, there are period accurate video games and also period accurate Lego sets. I was like, oh, that's that set. That's that set. There's a lot of this specific theme, like the 2003 creator theme. But there is one huge mistake in this movie. You want to know what it is? One scene, they're shown building a Lego set. It was a 2023 Battle of Hogwarts. They fucked up. That took a whole point off of this movie for me. No, I'm kidding. I was amazed this went with like a 35mm design visually. I mean, I thought it would go with a clean digital look, but honestly, that 35mm design really distinguishes it from other crime romance stories that are comedies like this. I was like, yeah, this actually looks beautiful, and I love the color palette of this film. Can't say I remember the score or the music used. I mean, that was pretty generic, but it's not a big deal. But yeah, I love those practical elements. But the performances and the cast that they have here is great. I mean, I don't really care for Channing Tatum. He did a fantastic job. I loved Kirsten, I almost said Stewart, Dunst's character. Ben Mendelsohn has a great bit part. For some other great little bit roles in here, there's a great Lakeith Stanfield role. They have a Peter Dinklage role that really rules. And none of these like overshadow the main performances or anything like that. And at the center of this romance has great chemistry between the two characters that they explore. It's not a perfect movie. Like I said, it's very accessible, which isn't a problem, but there is one plot line, really one character that I'm kind of like, okay, we're really just dropping this character. Like, they don't really even cover it even at the end. And I could see that being thematically purposeful to a certain character's motivations and demeanor, but it did feel weird that they just did not ever cut back to this certain character. And like I said, it has a very standard framework, so there are tropes here and there. And I was like, okay, they're kind of doing this moment that, you know, I would expect from this type of story at this point in the film. Didn't blow my mind away in its narrative, but I was really happy and surprised with just how much of a fun experience and how well made it was. And seeing Derek Sean France's other movies now, because I saw Place Beyond the Pines just a few days ago, I'm like, oh, Ben Mendelsohn was in that too. And Place Beyond the Pines, Blue Valentine are by the same director. This is a lot lighter of a story. This is, you know, kind of a comedy, honestly. It's just straight up a comedy at points, but it doesn't, again, shy away from darker elements, which I like that. I like that genuine feeling that they have going on there, because this is based off of a true story that does have some dark elements to it. It's a little over 2 hours long, and it doesn't feel like it, honestly. It went by pretty quickly for me. Like I said, very accessible film. Definitely take people, you know, friends or family to it, because I think this is something most people can enjoy. And if you're a Lego fan, I would recommend checking it out, because there's some cool little Lego references. It's just a fun experience at the movies that I thought was artfully done. Again, not the most mind-blowing narrative out there, but with all things considered, I'd give this an 8 out of 10. Yeah, it's a low 8 out of 10, but it is, I guess, in my top 10 of the year, which I wouldn't expect. If you told me the story of this, I would be like, oh yeah, that sounds so generic. But it's just elevated by its characters, it's elevated by its tone, it's elevated by its visual design, and I do admit my bias that it does hit those niches for me of those recreations. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you saw this, am I being nostalgia blinded buy those special interests that tingle my brain? Or did you agree that this was a very enjoyable experience? Subscribe here for more early movie reviews, and you can check out my other Toronto International Film Festival reviews, and I'll see you later. Peace out.